everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I am talking to you about my 2016 Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT. And I was actually recently watching Eddie X's video that he posted about a Dodge Viper 2017 GTC, and it got me thinking about making this video here, so we're gonna just jump right into it. There we go. So I'm just running some errands here, and I figured I'd make this video short and sweet. I've owned this Jeep now for 6 months. I put a hair over 2,000 miles on it. I do drive it a little bit, mostly for my business, actually towing, but that's not the reason why I bought it. So as you know, we're in an age where a vehicle like this SRT Grand Cherokee is becoming something of an ancient dinosaur now. While you still can get the Durango SRT in 2025, I think that's probably going to be the last of it. And the SRT brand is essentially diminished along with these Hemi engines, and you really can't get a decent enthusiast vehicle from Mopar anymore. So, as you know, if you watch my channel, if you don't, no big deal. I have a ton of Mopars here. My girlfriend, or my fiance I should say, just recently purchased a brand new Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xe. That is a great vehicle. I also have this, of course, Jeep SRT. My parents have a Durango RT Tow and Go, which is essentially like this Jeep SRT, just without the 6.4 liter Hemi. It's only got the 5.7, which is still a blast to drive. And I also have a Challenger SRT, a 300 SRT. I've got a 78 Dodge Monaco with a 318, and then I've just got a 67 Chrysler 300 with a 440 4-barrel V8. So I'm a Mopar fan. We have, oh, and my father has a Chrysler Town & Country minivan as well. So we have everything Mopar besides our Chevy Volt, which is a specific use case scenario to where that is what I needed as a vehicle, because I daily drive the hell out of that thing. I put about 20,000 miles on per year on just that specific vehicle, and I enjoy it a lot. But otherwise, all my other Mopars I really enjoyed. I did have a 2019 Ram 1500 Laramie previous to this vehicle as my primary tow hauling, utility vehicle. And I wanted to make a change from that because you can buy a truck. Anybody can buy a truck. I could buy a really nice 5th gen Ram truck basically whenever I want to. And I wanted something that, here we go again. The shifts are so good. It's just so fun to drive. I wanted something that was way more engaging to drive than my Ram truck. And don't get me wrong, that vehicle was awesome. It just wasn't very engaging to drive because, again, it's a truck without shifters. And I did try out a Ram 1500 Laramie with the GT package, and that was very engaging to drive, but I couldn't find one spec'd out anywhere with the options that I wanted, either in a Rebel or the Laramie, which I preferred the Laramie package. Couldn't find one with the front camera, couldn't find one with all the options that I wanted on it. So that essentially brought me back to this Jeep SRT, which when I bought it at about 4,500 miles on it, now it's got about 6,500. And honestly, over the last 6 months, I can do everything that my Ram truck did for me, which includes towing a lot of weight, with ease with this Jeep. You just don't get, because of the tire situation here, you just don't get muddy all-terrain off-road tires that I could have on my Ram truck, and essentially, so it doesn't go through snow as well, clearly, which I do need to make a tire upgrade, and I don't get the bed that I get with my Ram truck, and that does pose a problem. I like to put stuff in my bed a lot, but honestly, as I get a little bit older here, as I own a golf course, I do a lot of everything that I can to make money, essentially. I just find myself doing off-road truck stuff less and less and less throughout the years. So I'm like, well, why do I need this truck, which is absolutely gorgeous, when I could find myself a really nice Durango SRT or a Jeep SRT, or even maybe a TRX if I could afford it. But I couldn't afford a TRX with all the vehicles that I have right now, and I frankly wasn't willing to get rid of one of those vehicles to use as down payment money for a TRX on top of what I already put down on this vehicle from the sale of my truck. So I decided, well, I've got one option. I can't go with the Durango SRT because my parents already have a awesome, fully loaded Dodge Durango RT Tow and Go that I picked out for them. I actually gave them a little bit of money down for it. So I thought to myself, well, wait a second, I can't do that because I don't want the same exact black vehicle that they have just in SRT form compared to Tow and Go form, which has all of everything that the SRT has minus the 6.4 liter Hemi. So I thought, well, I'm going to get one of the most street cred historic videos in Mopar, or historic vehicles in Mopar history, which is the Jeep SRT. This is probably top 5 most historic vehicles in Mopar history. So I decided to go ahead with that and purchase this, and honestly, this tows 7,200 pounds. I'm not towing anything more than that. I've only towed my skid steer that I use for my golf course once, and that was with my Ram truck, and quite frankly, if I were to do that again, I would probably want if I was towing that a lot, I'd be towing it with a 2500 or 3500. I just wouldn't be towing it with this or my Ram 1500 unless I absolutely needed to. So otherwise, everything else, this does perfect. If for some reason I do need to tow that skid steer, I'll use the Durango. That's not an issue, but honestly, I don't foresee myself ever doing that. And this vehicle has done everything that my truck did, but just that much better. I mean, it's as comfortable as a truck. It's a blast to drive. It's honestly, out of all the vehicles I've owned, this is a top 2-3 vehicle to drive. I mean, it is really a blast out of all the vehicles I've driven. It's just so responsive and so big. The transmission is perfect. I've dealt with these transmissions before. Of course, the Durango has the same transmission. My Ram truck, I believe, had the same transmission as this. Of course, this is tuned different. It's great. This is really just a fantastic do-everything vehicle, and it actually is pretty sporty to drive, I do have to say. And after watching Eddie X's video about that Dodge Viper GTC, I thought to myself, well, wait a second. This guy is holding on to his Dodge Viper GTC 2017 for life, because they're not going to make anything like that anymore. And this vehicle here, they're not making anything like this vehicle anymore at Jeep. And yes, well, my fiance's Jeep 4xe is fast. I will give it that. You know, around 5 seconds 0 to 60. It's not 4 seconds 0 to 60 fast, and you don't get that visceral power of the 6.4 Hemi that you do in this. This is really an iconic vehicle to drive and actually own. And if you know, you know. I mean, everybody who knows this vehicle just gawks at it. They just gawk at it. And I'm in an area in northern Wisconsin where nobody has any sort of car culture here whatsoever. Nobody gives a shit about anything car culture around here unless you're old and you have a lot of money. So it is kind of cool to get nods and appreciation for owning this vehicle, because it is just such a blast to own and drive. And my 6 months of ownership here has been excellent. I'm glad I made the decision to switch to a Jeep SRT. I mean, it is really just a blast to drive. And yes, I don't get some of the luxuries that I did with my Ram truck, like a 360-degree camera or lane keeping, anything like that. But at the end of the day, for me, I don't necessarily need all that because I live in a rural area in Wisconsin. So while I do a lot of driving, I'm only going to Eau Claire as my large city, to put it that way. I'm not in the Minneapolis market area that often. So I'm doing a lot of my driving here, the largest in Eau Claire, which, let's be honest, Highway 53, if you know from Wisconsin, if you're in the area, it's not a very trafficked interstate at all. So I am very appreciative that I get to own this car, and I actually get to wring it out and use it for its worth, because I live in just such a small town. It's awesome. I get to wring this vehicle out for what it's worth, have fun, enjoy driving it, and I get to keep the miles low on it, which is awesome. And I have a heated shed for it, so it makes owning it just that much more special, knowing that people don't get to see this vehicle very often, and I'm driving a historic piece of Mopar history. And also, it's very fast and very engaging to drive. That's a huge plus as well. And it is very comfortable, and it does everything that I needed and wanted to do, essentially, which is awesome. But other than that, you know, like I said, I'm keeping this short and sweet. My 6 months, have I regretted not having a truck? No, not at all. And in the wintertime, this is when I did drive my truck more, and when I do drive this more. And for towing purposes, for equipment, everything like that, I don't regret it one bit not having the truck, because this is just so much fun to drive. I can do launch control after launch control after just regular launch in this vehicle, and it blows my socks off every time I'm in it. It's so much fun. It really is just so much fun. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to let you go. If you like this content, if you want to see more Mopar content, like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.